Hello again, 8th grade. It's Miss U here, back with questions 2 through 6. Alright, so I'm going to go up to question 6. I'm going to help you set up the equations because this is a new lesson for us, so it's going to take you some time to get used to it. So let's take a look at number 2 now. And don't forget, we have to use cubes. It says Calvin has 13 coins, all of which are quarters or nickels. The coins are worth $2.45. How much of each coin does Calvin have? Starting off with circling my numbers. 13 coins. It's the total amount of coins. And $2.45, that's the total cost, or the total, let's call it total worth. That's better. Total amount, total worth. And now I want to box any key terms. So I know that he has quarters. I know that he has nickels. This is important because it tells us the two unknowns. I don't know how many quarters he has. I don't know how many nickels he has. So I'm going to have to define my variables as quarters and nickels. The coins are worth $2.45. How many of each coin does Calvin have? Alright, so I'm going to underline my question. Looking for how many of each coin he has, and I'm going to start by defining my variables. So I'm going to use Q for quarters, and I'm going to say N for nickels. And just like I said before, you want to use let Q and let N. So let Q be the number of quarters and let N be the number of nickels. Alright, so the first equation I'm going to want to write is going to tell me the total amount of coins that he has. So if Q is the number of quarters and N is the number of nickels, and he has 13 coins, my first equation is going to be Q plus N equals 13. Right, because this says the amount of quarters, the number of quarters, plus the number of nickels is equal to 13. Now my second equation has to do with what the coins are worth. The coins are worth $2.45, right? So in order to figure out how much the coins are worth, I have to multiply the amount of the coins by the worth of each coin. So a quarter is worth 25 cents. So 25 times every quarter he has, plus, and a nickel is worth 5 cents. So 5 cents times every nickel he has, and that should give us the total amount, total worth of his coins, which is $2.45. So there are my two equations. And now that I have my two equations, I get to pick whether I'm going to solve by substitution or elimination. Right? So looking at these, neither one of them are solved for a variable. I do not have opposite coefficients, but you get to choose to either create opposite coefficients, and if you decide to do that, that's the elimination method. And if you don't want to use the elimination method, you can simply solve one of the equations for either Q or N. Alright, so there you go. I've set up the equations for you for number 2. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says there are 47 people attending a play at an outdoor theater. There are 11 groups of people sitting in groups of 3 or 5. How many groups of each size are there? Okay, so let's annotate. Start by circling my numbers. 47 people. 11 groups of people and the groups of 3 or 5. Now I want to box any key terms. I see that this groups part is very important to us, right? So why are they specifying that we're talking about groups here? Well, if I have 11 groups of people, that's a total amount of groups. And I know that my groups are of 3 or 5, and I'm trying to find out how many groups of each size, right? So I have 2 size groups. I have groups of 3 and I have groups of 5. So let me underline my question. So the way the question is posed helps me figure out the 2 things I'm looking for. I'm looking for how many groups of 3 and I'm looking for how many groups of 5. So when I define my variables, I'm going to say let x be the number of groups of 3, right? Groups of 3. And then I'm going to say let y be the number of groups of 5. Alright, so my first equation will tell me the total amount of groups, right? So if x is the number of groups of 3 and y is the number of groups of 5, and there are 11 total groups, I can write that x plus y equals 11, because that says that the number of groups here and the number of groups here should equal 11 total groups. Alright, so that's my first equation. And now my second equation is going to show how there are 47 people total. So if x is the number of groups of 3, if I have one group of 3, that's 3 times 1, because x would represent the one group of 3 and 3 would tell me how many people were in there. So what I'm going to use in order to write the second equation is this part right here, where it tells me I'm looking at groups of 3 or I'm looking at groups of 5, right? So 3x will tell me how many people are in groups of 3 total. So if I have 5 groups of 3, that's 15 people total, because 3 times 5 is 15. And 5y will tell me how many people I have in groups of 5. So if I had 2 groups of 5, I'd have 10 people total, because 5 times 2 is 10. So this tells me the total amount of people. And the question says that there are 47 total people. Right, so 3 times the number of groups of 3 plus 5 times the number of groups of 5 equals 47. That's my second equation. And again, you get to choose from this point whether you want to use substitution or elimination. So let's go to the next problem. All right, number 4. It says Agnes has 23 collectible stones, all of which are labradorite. Ooh. Crystals or galena crystals. Labradorite, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Crystals are worth $20 each, while galena crystals are worth $13 each. Agnes earns $439 by selling her entire collection. Get your money, Agnes. How many stones of each type did she sell? Okay, so let's cubes this real quick. 23 collectible stones. That's her total amount of stones. Annotate that. Total amount of stones.
Here's a reminder. Take a shower.
Alexa, stop. Alright, and The labradorite crystals are worth $20 each. Galena crystals are $13 each. And she earns $439 by selling her entire collection. So this $439 is the total worth or cost of her collection. All right, let's box any key terms. Well, we have the two situations here, the labradorite crystals and the galena crystals. Earns means she's gaining money and not losing. She sold her entire collection. How many stones of each type did she sell? Right? Stones of each type. That right there tells us what our two unknowns are. The labradorite crystals, how many of them? And the galena crystals, how many of them? Those are the two things we need to find. We need to know how many labradorite crystals she sold and how many galena crystals she sold. So let's define our variables. So I'm going to say L. I'm going to write my L in cursive so I don't confuse it for a 1. Let L be the number of labradorites or labradorite. I'll figure it out soon enough. Crystals. And let G be the number of galena crystals. Alright, so my first equation, we'll talk about the total amount of stones that she has. And my second equation, we'll talk about the total worth of her collection. Again, first equation, total amount of stones. Second equation, total worth of the stones. So since L is the number of the first type of crystal and G is the number of the second, when you add them together, you get the total amount. So L plus G equals 23, because 23 is her total amount of stones. And for my second equation, it's going to talk about the worth, the cost, and this is where I'm bringing the money in. Each labradorite crystal costs $20, so that's 20 for each crystal. Right, so 20 times L, plus each galena crystal is $13, so that's 13 times G, so 13G. And that equals all the money she earned by selling them, which is $439. Alright, and there are our two equations. And again, as I said before, you get to choose whether you want to solve this by substitution or elimination. Alright, so let's go on to question number 5. Number 5 says, a dog groomer buys 7 packages of treats. Gourmet treats are sold in packs of 2. Treats that help clean a dog's teeth are sold in packs of 5. The dog groomer buys 26 treats in all. How many packages of each did she buy? So what I'm going to do right now is I want you to pause the video at this point and see if you can figure out what the two unknowns are, right? Do your annotating, your cubes, see if you can figure out what the two variables that you're looking for are. Do that now. I hope you took some time. All right, so I'm going to cube the question as I did with the other ones, starting by circling my numbers and their units. So 7 packages of treats. They're sold in packs of 2. The treats that help clean a dog's teeth are sold in packs of 5. The dog groomer buys 26 treats in all. How many packages does she buy? And now I'm going to go and box key terms. The gourmet treats are sold in packs of 2. The teeth cleaning treats are sold in packs of 5. 26 treats are bought in all, right? How many packages of each did she buy? And I'm lastly going to underline the question, how many packages of each did she buy? All right, so packages of each, that means the two things I'm looking for is I'm looking for the package of gourmet treats, and I'm looking for the number of packages of dog teeth cleaning treats. All right, so those are my two unknowns. All right, so I'm going to define my variables with those two unknowns. I'm going to say let x be gourmet treats with the number of packages of gourmet treats, and let y be the number of packages of teeth cleaning treats. Alright, so let's take a look here. The 7 packages of treats, that's the total number of packages. And the 26 treats in all, that's the total number of treats. So one equation is going to tell me the total number of packages. The other equation is going to tell me the total number of treats. So let's start with the total number of packages. I know that the number of packages of gourmet treats I'm going to represent with X, and I'm going to represent the number of packages of teeth cleaning treats with Y. So if I add them together, I should have 7 packages in total. So that's X plus Y equals 7. And then I know the gourmet treats are sold in packs of 2. So for my second equation, I'm going to say 2 times X. That'll tell me how many treats per package. And the teeth cleaning treats are sold in packs of 5. So that's plus 5 times Y. And that should give me the total of treats in all. And the question says it's 26 treats in all. Alright, so there are our 2 equations. At this point, you can choose whether to solve by substitution or elimination. So let's go on to the last. Copeland competes in 27 swimming events this season. He wins either first place or second place in each event. Go ahead, Copeland. Copeland has 3 more first place wins than second place wins. In how many events did he win first place, and in how many did he win second place? All right. Let's start, as always, by circling our numbers. 27 swimming events. It's the total number of events. He wins either first place or second place in each event. He has 3 more first place wins. 3 more first place wins than second place wins. In how many events did he win first place, and in how many did he win second? Time to box key terms. Right, so he's either winning first place or second place. 3 more than the second place wins. Alright, so I'm looking for how many events did he won first place, how many events did he won second place. I'm going to underline my question. And based off of my annotations, I can see that I'm trying to find out how many events he won first place and how many he won second place. So I'm going to use F and S instead of X and Y. I'm going to say let F be number of events in first place. I'm going to say S is going to be the number of events in seconds. So he wins either first place or second place in each event. So he's always first or he's always second. He don't ever come in third or anything after. So knowing that, and there were 27 events, that means he won 27 awards. Go ahead, Copeland. That means my first equation is going to say F, which is the number of events in first place, plus S, the number of events in second place. That should equal the total number of events. And there were 27 events. Now this second equation is a little bit of a doozy. So that second equation actually appears here, where it says Copeland has 3 more first place wins than second place wins. Right? So 3 more first place wins than second place wins. So does he have more first place or second place? He has more first place wins, right? 3 more than a second. So that means his first place wins, which is F, should be equal to whatever his second place wins is, plus the 3 more, right? That makes sense. So now you can solve this system of equations, and you actually can solve it rather simply by using substitution. And I'm going to leave that to you to figure out. Alright, so as promised, there you go. I have set you up with the equations for all 6 problems. Make sure you solve for both X and Y. Make sure you write your complete sentence answer. And if you can, make sure to check. Okay, so if you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to reach out to me. My email is supere@albanycommunitycs.org. And if you want to get these videos as soon as they go up, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and you will get notifications every single time I upload a video. Alright, take care of yourselves, everyone. I love you, I miss you, and until the next video.